Cool.
Yeah, hey everybody. Welcome in for Topdeck Radio, the Hex Talk Show. We are on our 10th episode. I'm your host, Thrawn, joined as always by my partner in crime, Manifesto. How are you doing this evening, sir?
Hello, sirs and other peoples. Doing well.
We are in for another fine week of no real news to talk about, so we do what we can to provide y'all with some content and just, try to provide a casual place to hang out and talk hex. We try to make this the no bitterness zone because there's plenty of that in other venues. So if you choose to partake, you can go to those other venues. But tonight, I'm pretty sad. I really thought last week we were going to get to see the start of spoiler season, and nothing was announced. So our show's title here, wrapping up Doombringer, is kind of a prayer and a kick in the butt to Hex to, let's get this baby rolling on spoiler season already. And since we are the third, into the third month of the set's life, we just kind of most of our conversation is going to be about wrapping up this set and our experiences with it. And even though we don't have spoilers yet, just kind of casually discussing where we think we go next in terms of getting ready for. I got the hiccups already. Getting ready for a new set. But we'll start with what virtually little or virtually non-existent news there is. And Mandy, do you want to start with the Friday update?
Friday update. All right, so
The podcast won't see it, but the chat fam saw my heavy use of air quotes with the word update.
our Friday update is aptly named At a Glance because you get a glance at a whole lot of things you probably already knew. Though there could be a few things if you're not a hex info vacuum that
you need to read
you
it.
may have not known.
Whoops, that's the wrong screen.
First up, Cosmic Crown Showdown. Everyone should know this is around the corner since the ladder has reset as of the last day of June. Everything should be locked in, and they will probably be announcing the contestants shortly. They usually announce it by the end of the week after the last games take place, just to make sure they have it right and don't misannounce people that shouldn't be in it or miss people that should. This Cosmic Crown Showdown will be taking place in 2 weekends, not this weekend, but the one after, July 14th and 15th, 9 a.m. Pacific. Let's see. If you did not know, this is where things might maybe new information to some people. The all tournaments now, I guess, now with Cosmic Crown switching over, are no longer cash tournaments. Everything's transitioned to platinum payouts. The new prizes are as follows. First place, 200,000 platinum and the Cosmic Crown animated sleeves. Second place, 100,000 platinum. Third and fourth place will get 50,000 platinum. Fifth through eighth place, 25,000 platinum. Ninth through 16th place, 25 booster packs from the current set. Which could be whichever set you think will be there. And then so on and so forth.
It'll be Doombringer.
Yeah, it'll be 17th through 22nd, 10, 33rd through 128th, 5 boosters. 200,000 plat is a lot. I will say that. Whoever, first through fourth place should be able to easily buy their whole next set, I would say. Maybe even some fifth through eights if they know how to spend platinum well. So that's a thing.
Yep.
And as I said, the ladder did reset, so we do have a new ladder system, or not new. Well, yeah, I guess the changes to the ladder also took place, mainly being the different number of stars you get. You don't get your bonus star anymore, which I've already played through to tier 4, and you do notice it does happen a bit slower. I had to go 4-0 just to get from Plat 5 to Plat 4, where I would normally be just about in Plat 3 instead of just starting Plat 4.
Mm-hmm.
The sleeves are sweet. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of the Librarian, so any sleeves with the librarian on it are obviously going to be a win in my book. The wispy eyes, just the overall. I mean, I love the librarian, so no problems there for me. Winter's Grasp, it's at least it's playable. It's alternate art that's playable. Withering Gaze, unfortunately, will be rotating out, so that's kind of weird. No, it won't. Yes, it will. Isn't that
Yeah, it will. It's Scars of War.
Yeah, it will. Scars of War. That's kind of weird that Withering Gaze will be rotating out, even though it's a ladder reward.
That's
I mean, still a really good card though.
The librarian hadn't debuted as a character in that set. They're kind of retconning.
Huh? Oh yeah.
The librarian didn't appear until Frost Art, so they're kind of retconning a character into an earlier set's art, which is not a big deal, but kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's still a cool card. It's still going to be used in Immortal, I'm sure. So I'm not worried about it being a dead card. It's a super strong card, even if it only gets into the sideboard, it'll still be played.
Right.
What do we got next? Very melee rotation. Nothing new. It's a Who's the Boss again. So it looks like they're going to be doing the rotation in the same order because that's what was second last time.
Yep.
If you have not got them, reminder that your wins do not go away. If you had 5 or 4 wins, or not, the wins go away from the actual gauntlet, but the overall gauntlet number of wins you have to build up to 10 for the sleeves do not reset. So if you had 5 gauntlet wins before, you only need 5 gauntlet wins now to get to 10 to get your sleeve. It's 10, right? Doesn't actually say it there.
Yeah, it's
I'm
10.
pretty sure it was 10. Yes.
It's 10.
The sleeves are for Who's the Boss, a animated Primal Frost? Is that what's Primal Frost?
Permafrost.
No. Permafrost sleeves, which are pretty cool. A little snowflake rotates in a circle in the hand, and the chromatic colors go around with it. So it's a pretty cool sleeve. It's one of my more favorites. Unfortunately, it's one of my least favorite Merry Melees, but I'll probably grind it out. And the Hex Bash and classes this weekend, and that is the end of your Friday update.
Yep, largely. Well, my voice is having issues today. Largely a copy-paste for 5 weeks in a row. I mean, I'm going to throw the shade where shade is deserved, and then we're going to move on. But if you look at the last month of articles on the Hex official website, we have a Friday update, then we have the Immortal Gauntlet patch. So yay, content changes in the game. Yay, that's good. Then we have Happy Birthday Hex, okay, right. And now we have door prizes, Friday update, door prizes, Friday update, door prizes, another event, Friday update, door prizes, Friday update. So there's been virtually no content on the Hex main site for a month now. And that's not good. I mean, there's obviously no spoiler articles. Spoiler season hasn't started. Your other contributors who have been writing articles are either out of ideas or bored or, don't have anything to post there. So it's kind of
Miss my mouth.
Kind of unfortunate, to put it mildly, that as a new person going to Hex's official website, and this is all you see as far as a month's worth of updates, doesn't present a good image. I didn't ignore it. I think Questmas is less of a deal. I don't think Questmas is that big of a deal. We have these go grind some dungeon events a few times a year, and I'm kind of about it. And honestly, I have 0 of any of these. I haven't even bothered. How much longer do I have?
My PvE cards.
It's already gone.
Yeah, I think it's over.
Oh no, it goes until July 6th. Never mind, I got time.
Oh yeah. So it's this Friday, not last Friday. Yeah. I like my little events. I don't have all of them, but they usually end up being, since they're cards everyone has, they're good cards to build PvE decks with, because then you're not being like, hey, here's this awesome PvE deck that unfortunately you'll never be able to play because you don't have all the cards. Right. So they're fun cards to build around because most people that play PvE probably have them. Or if you release the deck early enough after, they are not hard to obtain because there's probably plenty on the auction house. If I had to guess,
where
if I typed llama into it,
just go and buy them, so I can spend my gaming time on something else and still have the cards.
I can't spell apparently.
I did.
My screen's not up there.
I did win my first draft match in like a month and a half earlier today, though. That was pretty sweet. Because
You won your first. Oh.
My first draft match, because I'm a garbage drafter, and usually I'll go 0-1 or 0-2 and then just drop. But I actually won one. Go being bronze, although bronze has nothing to do with it in all likelihood.
That's what I was missing. Commas are fun. Yeah, there's 7 pages of llama emus right now, so.
Sweet.
And there's quite a few pages of under 3,000 gold ones too. 4,000 gold. So.
Well, then I am not grinding that baby out. I will just buy them.
Definitely easy to pick up.
But yeah, we don't, as I mentioned at the top of the show, we don't have a whole lot for set topics this evening. So if people have any questions, feel free to pop them in chat. I can't, as always, my standard disclaimer is you can ask. That doesn't mean we're going to answer, but you can ask. Otherwise, kind of our main topic of the night is under the optimistic hope that we're not going to get spoiler season's not going to start this week. It's the 4th of July. It's a holiday week. It's a vacation week. Hopefully next week, spoiler season will start, though probably not before we have another episode. But just kind of on the idea that we are nearing the end of the Doombringer saga here, or the Doombringer set as a standalone entity, that we kind of talk a little bit about the format and what we liked about it, what we didn't like about it, anything that we can take from this set towards what we think the next set's going to be doing or could be doing better. It's real kind of wide open. Replay, I'm going to write that down so we can circle back to that. But go ahead, Manny. Was there anywhere you would want to start about talking about Doombringer as a set and what the last few months of gameplay have been like?
Sure. I mean, I'll start off with saying that my overall enjoyment of the Doombringer set has been positive. Up until just this last week, where I've kind of gotten not fed up isn't the right word. Maybe slightly tilted at the meta. It's just there's nothing there's nothing that's really in my play style that's being played right now. And the only thing that is, everyone has started playing it out of the blue, so it's just kind of like, do I want to play the mirror of that? Not particularly. So, yeah. But other than that, I didn't play a lot of Limited. I'm not a particularly huge fan of the forced prismatic in Limited. Like, as a set idea, it's cool and constructed, it worked. But in Limited, I don't know if I'm just not good enough, or I'm just not smart enough to draft correctly in a forced prismatic world. What is my playstyle? My playstyle is control berry. It's not together, just control and or berry is usually my playstyle.
You're one of those filthy control people, okay.
Yeah, I like playing it, but I don't like playing the mirror. So obviously just over the last couple of weeks, when that very popular Ruby, Diamond, Sapphire deck has reared its head and started taking multiple wins and bashes, and in the latter, I just don't like playing the mirror of it. So I just didn't pick it up. I almost did last week, and I probably should have, but I didn't. Instead, I went completely other route and went F4 Specialist Marty Punker style, and got my butt handed to me. But that's neither here nor there. The rest of the set I've loved. I enjoyed the beginning when we got rid of the big bad mono blood machine. Didn't have to face that for a while. Had a lot of fun with Mustache and brewing weird decks, more the mid-rangey type that used a lot of Scribe of the Flame Man, and his big one was using Candlelight in them. And then everyone started playing turns, and then we went into like a couple weeks where it was a little stagnant with like momentum and turns just being like the go-tos, and didn't seem like anything was going to break through it. And then they kind of, I don't know if people got bored playing them. We got a couple of decks to beat them. Now we have a bunch of cool decks like Yassi's like sticky board that's being run as now in constructed, that started. I don't know which one actually came first. I can't say this, don't quote me on it, but it seems like it's very much based on the Siege Attack deck that Coach built, but I don't know who actually came up with the idea first. I don't know if Yassi had the deck, but just never played it in constructed because he was working on it, and then Coach got his hands on it and made it the Siege Attack deck for the Wardens, or chicken and egg story. Either way, it's being played in both, and it's a very good deck. And so, I mean, I feel like as far as a constructed scene, this set's been super healthy, and we've gone through the full gauntlet of control, mid-range, aggro. Oh yeah, I didn't even talk about Wax Cannon and Knowles coming back, and also Marty making Mono Ruby a thing. And there's always still been like candles and stuff in the background the whole time too. So I think we have plenty of decks. I think it's been a very good meta.
Yeah, I just went to don't do this, chat fam. I strongly discourage it. I went to Hex PvP Tools and I just looked at the player numbers for this weekend's bashes, and I kind of threw up in my mouth a little bit.
Yeah, the last 2 weeks have not been great.
18 players on Saturday, 20 on Sunday, and who knows? I'm not going to count how many people of those were overlaps. But that's why they stopped doing cash prizes. And frankly, they should have stopped doing cash prizes way, way, way before they did. Yeah, that's pretty self-explanatory. You don't need me to tell you that less than 24 people showing up for the bash at the level of prizes that they're giving out right now is anything other than horrendous. But yeah, I've as far as draft goes, for me, this is definitely the worst set. Not in terms of like card design or quality or anything. It's just strictly, I'm talking about my performance as a drafter. This is the set that finally broke me from keeping track of my win-loss records. Because for almost all of the first 5 years of Hex, I had a spreadsheet where I kept track of wins and losses against various formats. And when it got to the point where I was winning like 1 in 10 draft games of Doombringer, I just like, I don't want to know anymore. Ignorance is bliss. Like, the games have been competitive and they've been fun. I've been having a good time, but I'm on the losing end, like, overwhelmingly. So hopefully when we have our potential guest on next week, I can pick his brain and learn how to not suck at drafting, which is why I was so happy that I won a draft match. Like, I love drafting the Knowles, Ruby, Wild, and Blood. That archetype's been a lot of fun, and so has Diamond and Sapphire, and then pick your third color, just for like flying and kind of bounce shenanigans and stuff like that. Those have been my favorite things. I haven't played a whole lot of constructed though, just because most of the decks I've lacked the pieces for, they haven't interested me all that much. I'll probably draw some flack from people, but I have to admit that, like, currently my favorite deck to sleeve up and play is actually Momentum, which I know most people hate, but I love. That's like my play style, is throwing down a bunch of troops, making them really huge, and then bashing your face in. So it's nice to have a deck that's good at that. So I've had my fun with Momentum.
I can't bad talk you because that's what I used to get my 4-0 on the ladder so far this season. So Momentum is good. Momentum is super good.
So I got to Cosmic last season, and that's probably how I'll get to Cosmic this season again if I choose to do it, in the first half of the season.
It's very strong and doesn't have... I think it's probably a better ladder deck because you have more things to run into that it's good against than it's bad against, I would say, from people who like to ladder. I feel like the things that it really is weak against are more tournament type decks that people probably aren't laddering with because they're a little slower, a little more control-y.
Right.
But like, I mean, 3 of my 4 games were against aggro, and it was just like, that's cool. I have a glory, so all I gotta do is survive till turn, and in momentum, it's really only like turn 4, sometimes even 3, and you're like, oh, there's your glory. Have fun. And now I win.
Mm-hmm. So after you hit Cosmic, did you play much of the ladder after that? Were you raking in the Cosmic coins, or
last season?
Yeah, did the introduction of coins change your play behavior at all?
I would like to say that if I was not a streamer, the introduction of coins would have made me play a lot more ladder. Unfortunately, being bound to, not bound, I mean, I can do whatever I want on my show, but being a person who likes multiple formats of Hex, as like PvE, PvP, all of it, it didn't actually increase my constructed play any because I already kind of had a set schedule of what nights I do what things.
Mm-hmm.
So, no, I did not just sit and grind coins. I wish I could have. There's lots of things I still want, and I've opened a couple packs. I haven't farmed no coins, but it just hasn't increased my playstyle. But like I said, that's because I have a set schedule already, really. I guess it increased it a little bit because I found myself when I sat down after stream and I like wanted to wind down, I'd end up playing like 1 or 2 games on the ladder instead of playing like 1 tier through a Frostring Arena match. So I did probably play a little more than I did. It just wasn't a lot in big picture.
All right. Yeah, it hasn't been that big a factor for me either thus far. Like, I did definitely play more the first couple weeks because usually when I get to Cosmic, I'm just done. But I've only opened 2 packs. I got 2 alternate art Hawkward turns. And then after that, it's just kind of been me playing other games and not doing as much stuff. And I think mostly it's just my own laziness to blame because the only deck lately I've enjoyed was Momentum, and I kind of got bored with that, but I was too lazy to build something else that that could compete at a Cosmic level because my deck building style is more the janky fun stuff that you see on Dungeon Masters of Entrath.
I'm reading chat, sorry.
They're just having a discussion about the cosmetics, the board and the sleeve and the all that.
Yeah. So I guess Momentum being your favorite deck, what were your other most favorite / hated decks?
You know me, my go-to hate thing is Control. I'm looking at the Sapphire Ruby deck that went 4-0. Mm-hmm. That went 4-0 in the latest bash. And that looks like a thing I'd very much hate because it's got Return to Cinders, the Runebinds, the Dingles.
It's so funny because I looked at that this morning and said, I want to play that tonight.
Yeah, that's
who beat me. That's the same player who beat me my first round of the bash on Saturday, but he was on the Diamond, the Sapphire Ruby Diamond one, and then on Sunday he played just a Ruby Sapphire deck, and he 4-0'd both days. Which, by the way, if that person is listening, congrats. 4-0ing with only one person 4-0ing both bashes this weekend is the same person. So, I don't know them, so maybe they split, but I don't recognize the name well enough to know if that is a person who does or not. But regardless, congratulations.
I love your reaction. I want to play that deck, and my immediate reaction is F that deck.
I mean, 2 sides of a coin, man.
Cassia Golden Light is still a thing I see at a 3-1.
Always. Candles will always, because it's just good. It's just a good synergetic deck.
PRG went 3-1 with the Blood Ruby aggro deck that I can never seem to make work for me in any competitive environment.
Also, while you're looking through that, I want to add to that guy who went 4-0 on, I don't know about Saturday, but on Sunday, every single one of his games went to game 3. He went 2-1 in every single round. So it looked like it was very well fought.
Doing it the hard
He
way.
definitely didn't sweep anyone. Naz is going to be ready to play me tonight. Naz has a whole week off of work, so he's going to be playing a lot of Hex. Poor guy doesn't get out much from his kitchen where he's chained up making, I don't know, omelets and steak and lobster macaroni and cheese probably for people.
3 Blackberry Nights in the top 8 on Saturday, so that's definitely still a thing.
Well, I'll tell you about my most hated deck for the season.
Do it.
And I feel like I can say this because I've already said it to his face in person. But turns. Ollie.
AKA
come on.
The Blackberry Night shenanigans.
Gosh.
Or one of those variants.
It's just the turns. If you remove the turns card from that deck, I can stomach it. But as soon as that card hits the table, I just want to be like, go in a corner and do terrible things to yourself. Not really, but in my mind. Yeah. So I've already told this to Ali's face, so I feel like it's okay to say that's my hated deck. No diss to Ali. He's a great deck builder, but I told him I wanted to just every time I see that deck, it just makes me think terrible things, and that's it. That's my winner for my most hated deck of the season, hands down. It's a great deck. It's a good deck. I just don't like it. Just don't like the uninteractiveness it ends in. Unfortunately.
Yeah, that's fair, and I don't think you're far from the only person with that sentiment.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I could just it's like you're sitting there just looking at your watch, waiting for your opponent to either kill you or clock themselves out while they're doing a billion things, and you're just sitting there twiddling your thumb. It's not interactive.
And when you play it, you start with the mindset that like, oh, that's what you're gonna do. I'm gonna make you play this out, and then about 15 seconds after you had that thought, you're like, screw it, scoop. You're like, I'm just gonna F10 and make you play this, and then you're just like, no, you're not, because you just hate yourself more every second that passes. Ali for exalted for sure.
Biznatch, Ali deserves a salute, a statue.
A statue
for all the salt. Nah, he could make his own brand of salt and fill up a few grocery chains with all the salt that deck generated.
It is a great deck to play actively. I mean, like I said, it's a good deck. It's just, I just don't like it.
It's one of those decks. The fun factor very much depends on which side of the table you're on. If you're playing it, I'm sure it's fun. If you're against it, it's like the really bad Winter Moon control decks from the Winter Moon's heyday. Those always made me rage pretty hard too.
And that is true, Metronomy, that it's not it is at least not an autopilot deck. The person piloting it does have to know what they're doing to play it. It's just if they do know what they're doing, it leaves little for your opponent to do once it's there. You just got to get there. There's not much that can stop you once you've gotten there.
I'm a scrub. I'd find a way to lose with it and be bad.
I lost with it. I played it once. I had to borrow the cards to do it, but I played it.
Ali made another deck that counters
You there?
turns. Yeah, I'm still here. I'm just looking at decks and thinking.
Yeah, that's my most hated deck. Favorite decks? I've had a lot of favorite decks this season. My most favorite deck. I mean, that's not really fair. Honestly, it's really weird for me. One of my most favorite decks to play this season was definitely Refuel. I'm not really usually one to like the aggro style decks, but I thought Refuel was very interesting. That it had, even though it was an aggro deck, it had a lot of interaction with it. It had a lot of cards that did stuff to cards and things that interacted, like stuff like using Lasgar's Bloodsworn to sacrifice a burster to then refuel the burster the same turn, just to get it's an easy 6 damage, which doesn't seem like a lot, but when you're also swinging for 12 to 16, it stacks up a lot. I enjoyed all the different Diamond, Sapphire builds that came. Scribe into Psychic Ascension was fun.
Psychic Ascension
What else?
rotates, doesn't it?
Psychic Ascension is gone. Yes. Super sad face. Hope we get a new Control Cornerstone card in the next set because
it'll happen, but
I see your stupid face. Yes. I mean, something will come. I mean, they have to. I mean, losing a card like that, they're going to have to print another Control Cornerstone card, or they're just not going to have Control. I mean, you could. I feel like the rest of the Control-y decks, though, would become a little more mid-range than Control. I don't know. It's just something you have to see. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. How about specific favorite cards of either the constructed or the limited scene? And we're not talking like cards of the week level here, but anything in particular cards that have been standout. I love playing that over the last few months.
Like I said, I played very, very, very little limited. If I had to pick a card for limited, I would probably say, I don't know. What do you got? Come back to me. Swing it back around.
Yeah, I don't know about the first card that popped into my head. It's just a good all around card. Is Replicopper. Like as a shardless artifact, you can throw that in any deck that you want. It's good
but your
in
chance
PvP.
Of getting it's pretty low.
It's good in PvP. It's good in PvE. It's not in limited anymore because it's from an older set. But that's one of my favorite all-around cards. In limited, it's been the Ruby, Sapphire, Knolls. The ones that share both of those thresholds. The 3/2 that I think has crush and gives you a resource on hit.
Ruby Wild.
Ruby Wild is what I mean. Yeah. One hit wounder. Just all of the Knolls that have Ruby and Wild in their thresholds have been some of my favorite cards to play with in limited. Like I will go hard into Knolls if I see those going around the table at all.
Mass Glaciate's probably been my favorite limited card. It's one that I've managed to definitely grab a couple of times in the 2 or 3 drafts I played. I really like the familiars too. I feel like they were kind of made for the set. Obviously, they were made for the set, but like they played into what the set was trying to do pretty well and kind of helped maybe guide some of the shard choices. Protection Racket.
Ooh, that is
there's a good limited card.
That card is legit.
For constructed, I would say my favorite card for constructed this set. It's not what I thought it was going to be at the beginning of the set. That's for sure. I think it's the Book of Mysteries. Honestly, I think that's my favorite card that I've played with. I mean, Doombringer Ka's up there. Doombringer Ka is super fun. Scribe of the Flayed Man is super fun. Voices of Dendrith super fun. But I think Books is the most like maniacal, my control-y play style. Like that thing sticks, and you just get to do stupid stuff with it. For PvE, thanks to Coach Lilygrove Warden. And when I say PvE, I just mean Siege. You can call Siege whatever you want, but I call it PvE. And then
let's not get the is Siege PvE argument going, please.
But see, Scour the Archives definitely gets a mention. That was a super strong and fun card for me. And then I'm just looking through all the set cards right now, and then like I see one and I want to say it, but I realize it's just kind of personal because it's from like TSS decks. But like, so that's opened up a whole nother can of worms for me of reasons to enjoy Hex / cards I like. Like I was just looking at now I lost it. Where'd it go? Where'd you go? Oh, Jensen. I was like, I love Jensen. I had so much fun with Jensen. Oh yeah, but it was just that one night doing that one thing. But still, man, sometimes that's all you need. It's like booting up your old PS2 to play that nostalgic game. It's still worth it, even if it's not supposed to be. That's not the words I'm looking for, but you know what I mean.
All right. I only have one Songstring Warden. I have not been.
Oh my gosh.
The sieging has been going
Best
very
PvE
poorly
card.
for me, so I'll lose 2 or 3 times and then I'll just rage quit.
Best PvE card, hands down, is Songstring Warden. That Songstring Warden deck I built is so good. I have been crushing some FRA with it. Brilliant Annihilix is, because it pairs with Brilliant Annihilix, which is arguably one of the other strongest cards printed in this set, is just like... And then they went ahead and gave Brilliant Annihilix a legendary equipment piece that's absolutely bonkers. Like, there's just... I don't know. I feel like someone slid Brilliant Annihilix... Like, they had the set done, and, like, they decided all the cards, and someone was just like, oh, I'm just going to slip that into the approved pile that no one saw because I don't know. It's just like, I can't... The power level is so silly, and just that breastplate is just... It's like a PvE card. It really is. It is like a PvE card. I love it.
Yeah, Stromwar, aka Airtron, complaining being in the 500 club. Well,
the 500 club. I'm sneaking up pretty quick.
You've got 23 wins and 9,986 cost to attack. So this is the unfortunate thing about sieges. You get into that territory, 23 wins, it means you're probably nigh on unbeatable with the tools that people are allowed to have on the attack side. Like, I think...
That's like the edge of what I attack on.
Defense has
one
too many
more
toys.
win on that, and I wouldn't attack that anymore. Like, I attack pretty much 10,000 and
I
under.
I wouldn't attack this. I wouldn't attack this right now. You're telling me 10,000 gold to buy in, for 23 bodies on the floor. I mean, I can tell you with 100% certainty, I'd only be adding my body to the count.
Yeah, I mean, mine's getting there. I've already decided that if mine gets to 500, I will publicly make another incentive to attack it. Like, I will openly say that if you beat my siege and send me in-game mail saying you beat my siege, I will give you, like, X packs or something. I don't know what, but, like, I will not let my siege just fizzle out. I mean, my siege isn't that good. I don't foresee my siege getting 21 wins, but it's getting close to the 500 mark with only 12 wins right now, I think it has. Something like that. So...
Oh No's has 33 wins. Griffinheart and Skaza X have 25. There's 9 people in the 500 club right now.
And then there's people like Naz who put their siege up for a ridiculous amount of gold too. So not only are they have decent number of wins, but it costs like 60 to 80,000 gold to attack it.
Yeah,
like,
and it's like I'm not a gambler. If you're putting up big prize sieges, more power to you. But you immediately price me out of wanting to fight it because I hate losing. So I'm okay with small amounts of gold because it's like, that stuff's easy to get back. 1,000 gold, 1,500 gold, okay, fine, whatever. But 40k, that's a lot. That's several dungeon runs to get that back. No, thank you. I'm not risking that on a blind entry when I don't know what your decks are.
He said no.
But any other?
I put mine at minimum just to build over time. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly.
I just don't like reposting, so now it's up forever. I mean, that's fair. It is.
You made your bed, and now you lie in it.
Well, that seems a little harsh. I don't know about that. someone will probably come around and beat it. Let's be honest.
Oh, there's also 3 people in the 500 club if you're actually crazy enough to attack platinum sieges.
Oh, is there 3 in the like with wins, or they've just been
Yeah.
sitting there with no
No,
one attacking
they
them for
have
so
wins.
long?
River Trace has 10 wins. Malicious has 10 wins. Gregolish has 9 wins, and they're all sitting at 500 siege sacks.
So 10 wins tells me that they've sat there for a while.
Yeah, probably.
They probably haven't built up to 500 platinum based on wins. They've probably sat there for a while too.
Don't they? Doesn't the sack count build a lot faster on platinum number than it does on gold?
I honestly could not tell you the answer to that question.
I think there was something like that in the wishful thinking hope that would motivate more people to put up platinum sieges, but that hasn't changed people's behavior at all.
Yeah, I mean,
why would you want to gamble for premium currency? That just seems silly to me. But I guess to each their own.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just kind of freewheeling and dealing. Any other thoughts though about Doombringer as a set?
Not really. I mean, I'm hopeful. Obviously, I mean, this is more about the next set. I feel like Doombringer is part of a whole that I hope the whole will be filled. That's going to come out wrong no matter how I say it. I hope the hole is filled by the next set. Like, that's just how those sets work, though. Like, prismatic sets, when you only release half of the, what's it called? Half of the buy, threshold combinations. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah,
like
I kind of see what Stromwar's saying too, that he thinks it'll be super hard to pair a set limited wise with Doombringer, just because you're only opening, theoretically, if we go off of the way every other set's worked, you're only opening 1 pack of Doombringer, and so now you've got all of those combinations, which may or may not play well with the next set that you have 1 pack to open.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see how that works, or if they make any changes to the draft format for just set 10.
Didn't they already announce how they're going to do
they haven't announced
the drafting?
The
way the packs are going to, because it's like the same A-B rotation style that this set has.
It might.
For drafting, so you know which color combinations you're going to get.
It might, except that it's always newest earlier in the block. So if they continue with that, then you're still only getting 2 packs of whatever the newest set is, and then 1 to Doombringer in the mix. So, I don't know that it'd be any better if we stick to that format. It'd be interesting if they say the draft format is just 10-10-10.
Gotcha.
And there is no more Doombringer Unlimited, but we know nothing, folks.
We know as much as you know. Juno?
Yep, so being the optimist here, maybe it's not that optimistic at the moment, but I'm kind of feeling, by the fact that spoiler season has not started yet, and giving out my hot prediction early. We're not going to get spoiler season this week because it's a holiday week. So I'm going to keep my fingers crossed that it starts next week, and we have a 2-week-ish spoiler season, and that the next set drops either the last couple days of July or very early August. So I'm still thinking we're in the last month of Doombringer, and so with that thought in mind, if you're operating under the assumption that in roughly a month or so, a new set is going to be coming out, what, if anything, do you do now to start preparing yourself for it? Either, collection-wise or mentally what are you doing with your life at this point in a set?
I I guess I don't really do anything that different, to be honest. Like, I just don't. I play the game pretty much the same way. I yeah. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. There's no I like if I there's a couple chase cards, I might go get them, but honestly, I mean, I stopped playing. What's it called? Like, I stopped playing limited altogether. I don't really play much limited anymore. But other than that, I farm my PV. I mean, now I have so much other things to do. Like, I haven't even really noticed. Like, this is gonna. I mean, people are gonna hate me for saying this, but I don't even care that the new set's not out because I have so much to do. Like, I am still farming my shards for the siege, like the siege shards, and I'm still. I can't now because the season literally just reset, but I was still farming cosmic coins. Like, I have plenty of stuff to do, so I don't really notice the fact that there's not another set coming out. And I mean, I already know how much money I'm going to put into this when it comes out because I've been putting the same amount of money into Hex every time for the last forever. Oh, I just lost this game. Yeah. So I tried to beat what's his face's Siege, and it went terribly. I always actually got Chrono to deck himself. Chrono plus Underworld reinforcements may not be the best idea in the world if people have removal for your Chronos, because it keeps bringing Underworld reinforcements back in and drawing multiple cards. It's just pretty funny. But yes. Make sure I have enough packs to play limited next set. Make sure I have anything that I think might go up in value next set instead of going down in value for next set.
Right.
Definitely see if I can pick up any cards that might be super good in Immortal that might be rotating out and will no longer be being opened in packs.
Yeah, this can be an interesting time to do a little bit of market speculation. Just because, while we don't have spoilers and you don't know what the next bomb is going to be or what you have that interacts with things now, it's kind of hard to make predictions on what the good stuff is going to be going into the future. But if there's anything that, near the end of a cycle, if more rares are out in circulation, it can be a good time to pick up some of those cards that you were looking for and didn't have. Like, I need to see what Scour the Archives is going for, because I don't have any of those at the moment. I don't have any Doombringer Ka, but Doombringer Ka might still be ridiculous.
We already had that discussion, Stromwar, that we don't think that rare resources should even exist, so... Unfortunately, I don't think they're going to make that change this set. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Remnants will be rare, and they will be just as hard to get.
They got that cycle they have to finish.
Yeah.
Speaking of, 2 out of my 3 rares in the draft I did today were Remnants, so I got that going for me. Hashtag first world problems. I can flip those babies, hopefully. But yeah, I just try to top up on plat a little bit for entry fees, and I always overbuy on a set. I have 47 Doombringer packs right now. I don't want 47 Doombringer packs. So I might sell down a little bit, but then again, it's also kind of nice to be sitting on that many since I do Dungeon Masters of Entrath prizes. And all that stuff comes out of my own collection.
Resource actually called?
What stupid diamond resource?
Third one makes drop of wax.
Oh, Wax Sacrament?
Wax Sacrament. He said, Replay says that he thinks the rare resources are good for the game because they aren't a card necessary for any deck. And I said, tell that to Wax Sacrament. Well, I said drop of wax, but like Wax Sacrament, it's not 100% necessary, but it makes every single deck that it's in so much better, like ridiculously better.
Scribe of the Flayed Man is still like $10. Hard pass.
Oh yeah, I think it was 14 yesterday when I looked, because I still have 0. I somehow managed to open no wax sacraments for the entire set. Not even one. It was ridiculous. There's always that card. Do you have that card? Is there like just a rare that like no matter what you do, you just can't open?
I actually have
my one before this
sacrament.
set was Neo. I didn't open a single Pathfinder until after we already had this set, Doombringer.
Youch.
I was like everyone was playing Momentum, and I was like, that's cool. I can't, because I don't have a Neo, and it was in the same boat. I think it was up in like the 800, 900s. I was like, I'm not dropping, I can do math, $36 for a playset of one card.
Yeah, Doombringer Ka, the cheapest is $880 on the auction house right now.
The nice thing about Ka is you at least don't need 4. I mean, you can have 4, but really if you have 2, you can play any deck that Ka's in. Because most of the decks that are running Ka are running some way of getting him too, or at least some type of card draw, or scour the archives. So apparently Yasi found a AA Ka for 400 platinum.
Flipped it for
some
15.
people.
Hashtag winning.
Just stare at the auction house, Thrawn. Come on, you're just playing the game wrong. You're playing the card game, not the stare at the auction house screen game. You got to have your priorities.
Yeah, I think I can think of off the top of my head about 50 different things that I'd rather do than be playing the auction house game all day.
I can think of a million things I'd rather do with our current iteration of the auction house.
Yep.
Do I want to try to beat Strom Wars Siege again? I kind of do. I'm kind of also scared that he just has 2 other Chrono decks behind it, because I know the deck I run can beat Chrono. All I need to do is aggressively mulligan for a Hero Fall, and the Chrono deck is much less scarier. But
yeah, speaking of Hero Fall, Hero Fall's another card that's going to rotate.
Yep, Hero Fall leaving is not as big as it would have been last set, but is still pretty big. It still is played in every single Blood deck, even though the Blood deck isn't as prevalent anymore.
I think losing that one's going to be a big. I think losing that one's going to be a big deal for siege attacks, though, especially since I like to run Blood at sieges.
Oh, that's true. We're going to lose it from siege attacking too. Ugh, that's gross.
So defenders can still throw a Hero Fall at you and take your best troop out of your deck, but you can't do.
I didn't even think about siege attacking being standard and that changing.
Seriously,
that does suck.
When the next set comes out, they need to flip the switch to attackers have access to all PvP cards. They just need to make it immortal versus everything already. The standard only makes less and less sense the longer.
Or at least, at minimum, not rotate sets out of siege attacking. Like, maybe if they aren't ready from a technical standpoint to actually bring in the rest of the cards, at least make it so none of the cards rotate out. You know what I mean? Like,
so it'd be the current standard plus the next set, and nothing.
Yes.
Goes
so nothing ever leaves siege attacking. So siege attacking decks that you've made will always be playable, because that's one annoying thing, and that's one of the. I mean, I don't like.
I think engineering it that way though actually takes more work than just toggling a switch between standard and immortal.
Probably, it probably does. But if you think that you're already allowed to use the cards now, why would they ever have to leave? Like, they have to do something to take those out of the pool of cards you can use. Just don't do that. Just don't do that thing. Hey, Corey, just don't do that thing. That thing that you got to do to make the Hero Fall cards not playable in siege attack decks, don't do it. Please. Please. I haven't asked you for much, ever.
I just want to be able to run up at siege. I just want to be able to attack with Extinction in my deck. Wipe out their
Stromwar just watched the match of me attacking his siege. I got pretty close. If I could have top decked one more removal for that last Chrono, you would have lost. That would have brought them back into play, and you would have definitely decked yourself.
But I wrote
but
this.
yeah.
I wrote this down to circle back to it because Replay mentioned it long ago, and I did not play Hex this weekend, so I'm not partial to all the specifics, and I'm going to need Replay to kind of fill me in with the blanks in chat. But I'm hearing that there was a DDoS attack over the weekend during a clash or bash, and I don't know if that was aimed at Hex specifically, or if that was a generalized attack towards like whoever Hex has for hosting.
If I had to guess, okay, so for starters, they never officially said there was a DDoS attack. Someone did say that Dino said it, I think
it was. I heard it was Roostosaur saying it in chat.
Or Roostosaur, yeah, Roostosaur. But
Again,
I never saw him actually say it, even though I don't disbelieve anyone who said that he did say it. But I mean, it was over quick for a DDoS attack. Like, there was some interruption for ish of 20 minutes that I followed on Discord of people that were actually in the matches, and I was off, playing a different game with my friends that day. So, like, I saw the messages, and then I saw someone today in Discord saying that sometimes, like, lines get cut out there in California. I don't know, construction crap happens. They just might have severed something. I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to know the inner workings of the internet. To me, it's just a series of tubes that Al Gore invented. So
crap happens could be the state motto for California.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Our air conditioning went down because an entire colony of ants decided to live inside of it, and their dead bodies stopped the electricity from running through it, and that's why we didn't have AC for 5 days. So I'll believe pretty much anything. But yes, there was 20 minutes or so of outage or it wasn't even outage, it was just bad connectivity issues in the Hex client over the weekend. From what I've heard and saw, no one actually lost any matches because of it, and if they did, I'm sure they could go through the proper channels to show their disconnect logs and have gotten their monies back. But I don't know. I don't really know. I mean, I don't think Hex is big enough to warrant someone targeting Hex for a DDoS attack.
I don't think people care to that extent.
I don't see why we should really talk about it any further than that. I mean,
it was a thing. But yeah, if Chad has any questions again, feel free to fire away, and maybe we'll answer them. We don't have a whole lot. Otherwise, we've just been kind of chatting casually for the last hour because there's not much to talk about 3 months into a set and no official news for a month. We are just...
Someone mulled the 4 and DDoS the servers.
Yes, he knows the score. Yeah, but don't take potential news for next week. This is not confirmed yet, folks, so don't be mad at me or him if this doesn't pan out. But there is a chance that we have special guest Jadeem Jedi on stream next week to join us for a special Topdeck radio, in which it'll be an episode of Scrub Like Me and a better player like Manifesto. Goes this way. Just kind of peppering him with questions about how to be a better Hex player and general strategy and stuff. So that's what I'm angling to have set up for next week, so that we have more interesting content to kind of talk about in what's otherwise a rather downtime in news and not having much going on.
We got 2 questions in chat.
The mic's actually not on my head. This is a mic, but I'm using a tabletop mic over here. And if the volume difference is that big, that means I need to turn Manny down a bit.
Whoa, why are you assuming I'm the loud one?
Because if I'm quiet, then you have to be the loud one.
I'm the loud one. Mono blood stream incoming.
Woo.
All right, 1 second. Let's start at the top. Stromwar, if you could get a set of 1 AI only card, what would you take and why? I'm assuming you mean like a playset of 1 AI only card. It would definitely be Hogarth's little stupid minion, his 1 his 1-drop with Rage Sapphire Troop. That way I can make my mono Sapphire control aggro deck work.
Yeah,
or just put him into Empress of Ice deck.
I'll move my mic a little bit closer. There's not much I can do to change that while we're live. And it's like a foot from my face, so...
I wish there's a way to search all cards that the AI uses. Because I mean, honestly, I know I've seen them in the Frostwing Arena, but I can't
I don't
bring them all to the forefront of my brain at once.
That's a good question. It's one I'd have to do some research on to answer, because off the top of my head, I can't even remember what the AI only cards are. Because I don't.
There's not a ton of them, but there's some good ones. Replay asks, what do you think is the worst rare and legendary in Hex, and how would you make them better? These are all questions we should definitely write down and get back to, like on the next show or something.
Yeah, I like that question a lot too.
I could not think of every single rare and legendary at the same time.
Plus,
so there are some bad ones. Off the top of my head, the newest dragon is fairly garbage and has not seen any play that I am aware of in any format.
Honestly, that question is good enough to merit like personal top 5 lists. We could spend a lot of time on that question. That's a really good one. I wrote it down to add to our conversation bank so we can give it the time it deserves. I love that question a lot, but it's not a quick hitter. But we're definitely going to use it.
I have a list, but I'm an easy way to send it to you. There's like 100. Oh yeah, you could probably use that Hex Compendium thing.
Angmarsa's Trial
all
of
in
Faith.
the family.
All in the family.
Trial of Faith supposed to be one of the worst cards.
Stone Tusk is pretty
all in the
bad.
Families. All right, what's all in the family? Oh, I know which one all in the family is. That's the one that I know it. I can't. Wait, why I want it? Oh, because I'm in standard.
Yeah, gotta go to Immortal.
Immortal?
Maybe. Or
because I spell all with 3 L's and I'm an idiot. You know,
Brilliant.
all in the family. Of course, I have a full playset of them because I always open the bad cards of a set. 2-cost diamond constant. While you control 5 or more troops with different costs, troops you control have +1/+1 and invincible. At the end of your turn, if you control 2 or more troops of the same cost, sacrifice this. Yeah, it's pretty terrible. I feel like there's probably some way to make that work in this is like one of those cards I read. I'm like, there's got to be an equipment for it, right? Like an equipment that makes like pay X and summon a random troop of that cost or something, and like as a one shot to like fill in the like if you have a 1 cost, like if you have a 1 cost, a 3 cost, a 4 cost, a 5 cost, but you don't have that 2 cost, you can use a 1 shot on it and create a random 2 cost troop, like an equipment that does something like that, and then you could make it work better in PvE. But yeah, getting that to work in PvP is dumb. I'm assuming you just haven't said anything in a while.
Yeah, I'm just kind of skimming through the list again. I think Chark is a pretty awful rare, but maybe somebody likes Chark.
Charkmart?
No, Chark himself, Hired a Horn Elite.
Oh, okay. I was like, whoa.
From Armies of Myth, Rage 3. At the end of your turn, if you have any resource points, a random opposing champion gains control of Chark. So only way to keep Chark is to have some way to contrive that you're using every single one of your resources every turn. Otherwise, your opponent gets a 6/6 rage monster that's raged 3 every time it's attacked.
Yeah, you just run a bunch of X cost Ruby spell or Ruby actions. Everyone knows.
Yeah, and manage to hit them consecutively every single time.
No, see, the trick is you're not thinking outside the box enough, Thrawn. You run this card in a Ruby Blood Horrors of War deck. You play Charkmart, and then you Horrors of War all your resources away, all your opponent's troops away, but then you also kill the Chark. I didn't think that through.
Yeah,
you have to have enough other troops on your board so Chark doesn't die as well, and then you just win the game. No? Okay. Just
No.
me then.
Just you.
Yeah, but let's note that and actually look at cards and come back with a good list.
That's one I'll probably throw that one JJ's way too, just to say, hey, we might talk about this, to see if so he can look up any cards he wants to talk about too. Because I'm sure he knows how to evaluate the quality of a card.
Cards of the week. Talk about our silly cards.
Cards with an asterisk of the week?
Shh, they don't know yet.
Well, you're going to tell them.
I'm going to tell them. Are we good? Is that where we're going now?
Yeah, we can totally go there. It's going to be a short show this week.
All right, let's go there. This week on Cards of the Week, script flip, it's Champions. Champions of the Week.
Bum, 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 bum.
I didn't want to do any more cards. I wanted to do our top 3 favorite champions that are current. I mean, I didn't say they had to be in standard, so they can be whatever. They just have to be in the game. But these are not mercenaries. They're the champions that we've built decks with over the last 9 sets.
I like how I have Winter Moon up and neither one of us is going to talk about Winter Moon.
Though technically, Winter Moon is awesome. I think I looked through standard when I did it, so I don't think I have any of the really, really champions on my list. No, maybe I did, because I've kagulichu. Anyway, though on Hex TCG browser, it still lists the champions as cards. So when Hex API is like evaluating the champions, there's still a card somehow in the system. So even though it's never displayed in the client as a card, apparently it is a card. Swamput, because I spit hot fire. Boom.
Yep, Swamput is amazing.
Dylon. All right, so first, I think you went first last time, so I'll go. Oh, is there a thingy this week, by the way? PT Dubs? It's not written on here, so I don't know.
I finished eating 2 minutes before we went live. I didn't have enough time to do a card of the week.
So there's no card of the week.
We're gonna do pick a random number again for an Evo code, but we'll do that after Champions of the Week.
All right. Well, my first, and even though is a very good champion, I actually picked my first champion for the artwork, and that first one is kagulichu.
What set is that? Do you remember? Oh, no, I got it here. Kagulichu.
Isn't it in alphabetical order? Why are yours not sorted in alphabetical order?
Mine are sorted by set.
Because you have yours set by set.
You can set it in alphabetical order?
Mine are in alphabetical order.
Sort by name, I guess. I've just always...
Mine have always been in alphabetical order.
Mine has always been by set, and I've never touched it.
Huh.
Anyway,
Interesting. Anyway, let me find out mine, because I cannot read yours.
All right.
Because my eyes are not that good.
Kagulichu
is a blood wild champion. He has a basic starting life of 21 and a basic power of 4 charges. Put the bottom 3 cards of your deck into your crypt. Reveal a random card from your crypt. Put the revealed card into your hand. Kagulichu is a big champion in Immortal right now, and was a couple sets ago. I'm not going to claim to know which set that he was super well played in, but he is a Reanimator-esque troop or a champion that you run in Reanimator-esque decks. He's in the perfect shards for it, but I don't particularly play that deck, but I always love the art on Kagulichu. Is basically a Shinhair. I'm gonna say Shinhair like Warlock Shinobi. I hope I'm saying that right. I don't know. You know, Ninja Bunny, but he's got like the cool looks like a holy relic on his back almost, but it's all like overgrown with spines. He's actually like spell casting magic in front of him, but has like thorn zombie hands coming up out of the ground to like get to the magic. So I mean, it's just really badass art. I'm just gonna say it.
Yep. of all the Shinhair champions, he's certainly the most played.
In constructed, I will agree with you with that statement.
Yeah, probably not. He's hardly work in limited.
I believe. Yes, but if you're including limited in that statement, I would say Furiko might have it beat.
Probably accurate.
That champion was played a lot.
That was the default wild
Yes.
champion for a long time. Even after they nerfed it, it was still the default wild champion.
Yes. That's all I really have to say on Kagu. So I'll let you go.
Yeah. So my first pick for a champion I love is from set 3, Armies of Myth, Benvolio. Double ruby threshold, pay 4 charges, draw a card. If the drawn card is a non-resource card, it gets at the end of your turn. If this is in your hand, discard this turn. I always like this because this gives ruby decks some draw and a little bit of protection against running out of ammunition. So you can choose whenever you need to find something, you can grab it, to have another weapon to play. Except the drawback is you have to have the resources to play it. Otherwise, it could end up getting chucked. But if you found a resource, then at least you have that in the bank for the next turn, so you don't have to worry about resources. I would typically not play Benvolio's ability until I had enough resources that I was near the top of my curve, so that it was nearly certain that whatever I drew, I'd be able to play. It is a little bit of a drawback that whatever you find, you have to play or lose it. But the number of times Benvolio has helped me out of a jam is a lot bigger than the amount of times it screwed me. And this is another one too. I love the art on it. It's just the quintessential elf kind of performer style with the crown and the mask and the flames. Very theatrical. Are you not entertained as I draw another card to kill you? So Benvolio's got it going on and is one of my favorite champs. But,
good pick.
Who do you got for your second?
My second is a twofer. I both like the mechanic and the art. It is from the current set, and his name is the Rabid Rider. The Rabid Rider is a sweet-looking gnoll riding a mechanical feral-fueled bull who has a mace as a tail. Those are all very important things to know about this. They have nothing to do with the champion, but the aesthetic is amazing. The gnoll is wearing a visor that there's no way he can see out of well, and just looks like a crazed Power Ranger enemy, basically. But what he does, he has 23 life, he is in Ruby Wild, and he has a basic 3 charge. Target troop you control gets 2 attack and feral this turn. It's a super great aggro champion. It works very well with what Ruby Wild does right now, as far as either Wax Cannon or just Gladiator. Giving something feral forces your opponent to either let it through or give two troops a way to block it. Even if you could solo block it, you're going to lose another body to the blocking board. Maybe not lose it to that troop, but you will not have it available to block something else, basically, is what I'm trying to get at. It's a very useful tool. Putting feral on something at will is super strong. Some of the cards that already have feral aren't necessarily big threats, because feral on them would be very, very strong. So being able to put feral on something that is stupidly overpowered, like, for instance, 5/5 or even less, that's been wax cannoned in with double damage and crush or first strike. That's just it's ridiculous. You either have to let that damage through or you're going to lose troops. Either way, you usually come out on top. It's very strong. It's usable in both constructed and limited. And art is badass. The end.
This has been
number 2.
One of my default champions for limited. It's if you don't know, find a way to make Rabid Rider work.
Yes.
My second, I think, is no longer standard legal, or it's about to no longer be standard legal. Crap, I just saw you. Here we are. Yeah, it's going to rotate out. Grandfather Elk is one of my favorite champions for Wild. 4 cost, and again, another 4 cost double threshold. This one's double wild. Target troop you control gets +3/+3 and crush this turn. This guy loves to make the big stompies even bigger and even more stompy, and that's totally right up my playstyle. I love throwing this on things like Surging Wildfire to make that hit for another 3 damage to the face the second it attacks, and then swinging as a 4/7, crush the turn it comes
5/7.
out. 5/7, yeah, because of the rage. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like the things you can do with Grandfather Elk are awesome. The downside to Grandfather Elk is that when you use its charge power, you're putting an even bigger target on the back of something that's probably already a pretty big target. So this guy tends to fold like a paper bag against control-y decks or decks with a fair amount of removal, because they will just wait for you to use your charge power and then pick off that target. So sometimes you end up having to use it on a less ideal target just for the sake of spreading threat around so that you don't get completely blown off the board by putting all of your eggs in one basket, so to speak. But Grandfather Elk, he will always be a friend of mine, and although I don't know that he'll be great in Immortal per se, for PvE and Dungeon Masters of Entrath and stuff like that, I will continue to be building decks that try to use this guy because he's so much fun.
Yep, that was the go-to champion for a lot of the decks that Rabid Riders played in now too.
Yep. And what's your third champion of the week?
My third is 100% Manifesto only. Not only, but just because of my love of all things Barry, and that's Yarna of the Lost Voices. It does everything you would possibly want. You have to make your opposing champion, your opponent, choose if they want you to draw a card to find more answers or bury the top 5 cards of their deck. Outside of a bury deck, it doesn't work so great because your opponent could just take the 5 cards knowing that you're probably not going to win by bury. But if you're already showing that you're pressuring their deck early and then you play that on 4, they may just be willing to let you take some cards instead of risking, I don't know, activating that Cult of the Nameless City or activating, now I'm going to lose the name of the card, that's a 5/5 that costs way less if you have 7 resources in the crypt.
I don't know, I haven't played enough Barry.
That name's not going to come to me. It's a Sapphire Troop, but there's things that you can show that could definitely make your opponent think twice about making what might appear to be an easy decision.
The art is amazing too.
And sometimes you just get better lucky than good, like Crafty said, and if they just choose Barry, even if you're not running a Barry deck, you could just happen to bury some win conditions that they would otherwise have drawn then. So it's a great champ. I love her.
There goes your 1 Psychic Ascension.
I don't love. It's not that I don't like the art. I just think it's weird. Like, he's clearly playing not saxophone. Jeez, a bagpipe made out of a chaos troop organs or something. I don't know. It's very odd, and there's just lots of tentacles. And I mean, we all know where that ends. It's interesting. It's interesting. It's definitely not bad art. It's just interesting art for a champion. It's the bagpipes that really get me, though. It's just like, I get that it's supposed to be like of Lost Voices. Like there might be like a musical theme going there. Like maybe she sings too. But like, by the bagpipe, there's so many, like maybe a violin or like maybe there's another one that's sitting in an organ, isn't there? Isn't the other female Cult of the Nameless City champion sitting at Isabella? No, she's not Cult. She's part of the Bark. She's sitting at like a cool bramble made organ. That art is really cool. I forgot about this one. This would almost go up there with one of my favorite arts for champion, Isabella the Cursed. super sweet, playing an organ with like spirits heads like coming floating towards her, and she's got like a very marionette mixed with Morticia from the Addams Family vibe going on.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah. But on the other card, just the bagpipe bothers me. It just doesn't seem like a.
It's Strawmore's secret waifu.
And that's my champions of the week.
So my final champion is a deep cut. Set 2, never saw constructed play. That's good old Daughter of Stars. I think the only champion in the game to require quadruple threshold to be able to activate the charge power. You need 4 sapphire and a whopping 10 charges, and then you can activate Daughter of Stars' ability to put each opposing troop into its controller's hand. So it's a one-sided bounce. It takes a lot of work to get there. There was never enough charge gain in set 2 to make this work. But the more sets that come out and the more things that can generate charges, the more plausible it could be to have a deck that wants to do charges matter and race to 10 to bounce people's boards and then swing in for the win. I have made a couple Daughter of Stars decks for Dungeon Masters of Entrath that have been very gain charges, lots of charges, very tempo based, bouncing other people's troops to buy more time to hit the board wipe. High tier constructed, it doesn't work. It still doesn't work. But Daughter of Stars is just, it's good for shenanigans with the right build. And so this is one champion I continue to keep an eye on, hoping that someday she'll be more viable, because I just love the idea of a one-sided board wipe like this. But man, you got to work for it.
I'm just talking about you just play 4 Heart of Agonies and High Joltage. You got there, man.
There's also the flying troop that every time it attacks or it hits, it gets a counter, and then I think charge powers cost less for every counter on it. Like, there's ways to make it cheaper and there's ways to gain a lot of charges, but I mean, it can't be with a power that strong. You gotta have to put some work in. But I'm a fan of what Daughter of Stars is trying to do, and I continue to keep an eye on her and hope that one day she will get the glory that she was denied when she was actually a standard eligible champion.
Maybe an evasive Heartsworn Caller and then build a deck around Arcane Alacrity.
Yeah, that's all I got for champs. And we went through all of yours, right? I didn't skip any
Yep.
of you?
Nope.
Cool. Well, we've somehow managed to go an hour and 20 minutes, so we're doing pretty good. Do you have bold takes or hot predictions for this week?
I think mine's a joke. What was mine? What did I type in?
I'm not gonna read your words. It's going to be up to you if you want to commit that to the air or not.
Yeah, no. I mean, I believe it's true, but that was just me venting.
All right. Well, I already said mine that I don't, at this point, because spoiler season has not started, I don't think we're getting set 10 until early August. But I do think it will be early August. It will not be. It'll be within the first 10 days of August. And let me check the calendar to make sure that I still agree with that. Yeah, it'll be within the first 10 days of August.
I don't agree. I think they would err on the side of a very short spoiler season and still get the set out earlier than have the set come out later, because every week the set isn't out now that the new season has started. It kind of skews the way that the CCSs have been going, where you have like you have a CCS right after a set rotates out, but maybe that's what they're trying to get away from. Maybe they don't want the set to come out before the CCS, because we used to have it that since it was every 4 months and there was a CCS every 2 months, that one CCS the standard cards would change right before the CCS. and then you'd have one CCS that was right in the middle of the standard format, and then the next CCS again would happen right as cards rotated out and the whole meta changed up again. And maybe they don't want that anymore, because I hated that. That was really annoying.
Hey, set's been out for a week. You better have a playset already. Here's the CCS. Go.
Yeah, exactly. And also, what is meta? Like, who knows? No one has any idea. But
what is meta? Doombringer Ka, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. Nope.
I know, that's what I'm saying. But it just happened to happen that way. But they could control it not happening by pushing set 10 past the CCS, which is in 2 weekends. It means that the standards cards will be the same standard cards they've been for the last 4 months. So then CCS happens next Friday, which would be the last week of July. Or no, that still leaves 2 weeks of July, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a break.
2 full weeks
in
July after the CCS
because of the holiday. The 9th starts spoiler season. The 14th and 15th are the CCS. Another spoiler season week. A third spoiler season week, and then they could either release it on the 27th or the 30th. Or I guess they release on the 26th. It's usually on a Thursday. Thursday night patch, Friday release on the 27th. There you go. There's a bold prediction for you. 2-week spoiler. 2-week spoiler season, 27th release.
I'm going to go on record as saying I think this might be the first time you're more optimistic than I am.
I mean, the further it pushes it back, it just makes it even more wonky the way when the CCS would fall and the meta changing. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm looking too much into it. Maybe it's just late. Maybe it's just late because they put Siege and currency updates and whatever the other thing was that they put into it during set 9 that they've never done before. So, Momentum will win the CCS.
Before we get to shameless plugs, if anyone in chat, if you would like to have a shot at an Evo code, pick a number between 1 and 100 and drop that in chat, and who's ever closest is going to win an Evo code. Only one guess per person. If I see your name twice, you will be disqualified. And that's the way I'm going to do it because Twitch giveaway still doesn't work.
It's definitely 42.
I like how I said between 1 and 100, and I immediately get 888 and 666.
Well, I get Naz's. I don't get Crafties.
Actually, people could stop guessing. Replay already got it.
Did you? He really? He nailed it right on the head.
Yeah. Where's my internet browser? It was 76, and Replay guessed 76. It was the first person to do so.
Wow.
Didn't Replay won earlier today too on the random drop.
I mean, is it Replay? I don't see a name in chat, so
I see a name in chat. I'm gonna honor that. I don't know if other people can't see Replay for some reason, but I see that Replay
because his name is White. So if you're not using,
why is that?
He made his name White because there was this back and forth on my stream on Saturday. Like a couple people had like really dark or blue names, and he uses the night mode, so you could barely see it. I think it was Shosny and Naz. So they were talking, so they started talking all royal blue, so he started talking in all white, so no one could see anyone's name. It would only really hurt my eyes in the long run, so but now he's apparently just refused to change it, so it's just going to stay white. So if you're using the white mode of chat, you won't see his name. At least he's talking in black text. He was also talking in white text the other day, which was super fun to highlight, to read.
Yeah, so I just sent Replay the Evo. So I'm going to honor that because I didn't specify before I announced, but generally my rule is usually you can't win 2 codes on a stream, but I didn't say that, and I'm not going to penalize Replay, so Replay gets the Evo code.
This also isn't your stream. It's a democracy.
This ain't a democracy.
There you go. Now he's doing it. See it.
Nazersnap replays gamer tag is Nazersnap. Nice try. Nice
It's
try.
true.
But you got any shameless plugs?
Um, I guess the usual. We kind of just came up with it. I have to type it up after the show, actually. But this week on the Sworn Showdown on Friday, we will be doing what's it actually called? I don't want to say the wrong one thing. It is called. I think it's called Humiliate. Humility. The rules are you have to win on your opponent's turn.
Cute
we have
action battle.
We have banned the sister combo again for this, and that's the only deck restriction we put on so far. After I think about it some more, we may put some copy restrictions or some more card bans, but I don't think there's anything else that's really going to break it. But yeah, so we have to win on the opponent's turn. So there will be quick actions of some sort or quick abilities on troops that will be needed. Other than that, my stream schedule this week's a little up in the air, but you guys know where to find me on twitch.tv/hex_manifesto. I was gonna stream tomorrow, but it's kind of up in the air. Wednesday's 4th of July, so I don't have work, so might take advantage of that and go out tomorrow night. If I do, then we'll probably stream on Wednesday because I like to stay home with my dog, even though everyone else might be out that night. My dog is terrified of fireworks. So I will be here, so I might throw the stream on for a little while and do some FRA on that night instead. And then Thursdays, the regular, Friday here on the main channel, TSS. And then the weekend is up in the air, as it always is. If I'm free when the tournaments start, I will play them and stream them. If not, I don't. And yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Well, as always, I'll be here on the official channel again tomorrow for Dungeon Masters of Entrath. As always, 5 different formats that people can choose to fight me in, and I have bumped up the prize support for this because Hex has thrown more codes at me that I have kind of discretion on how I give away. So people who challenge me, you have a shot at winning some Evo and draft codes hidden behind prize doors just for ripping off a couple wins against me. There's booster packs in there. I've thrown in some reasonably nice immortal rares now that the immortal gauntlet is a thing. So there's reasons to show up and fight me. And even though Wednesday's the 4th of July, I'm not going out of town, so that stream will be tomorrow as usual. And actually, since I don't work on the 4th of July, tomorrow's Dungeon Masters of Entrath could be extra long because I don't have to go to bed and worry about being to work at the next morning, and nobody goes after me. So yeah, let's assuming that there are people in chat tomorrow and the participation is there, I will run an extra long Dungeon Masters of Entrath tomorrow. But if people don't show up to play it, then I will find other ways to spend my evening. But I think we could have a good time.
Gonna have a good time.
It's gonna be a good time. Yeah, that's
can't be any worse than this. That's for sure. Dang it! That's what I thought he said. I just thought maybe I'd do a day trip up to Naz and do disc golf on Wednesday, but I guess not. Ugh! What to do with my day off? I don't like having a day off in the middle of the week. It seems dumb. Yeah. I'd rather them just give us the Monday or Friday off.
It totally breaks up the flow. It's gonna be weird to treat tomorrow like a Friday and then go back and have a day that's like a Monday and then a day that is a Friday.
Your body's gonna be like, I don't know what to do. Just give me coffee. I don't know what's
going on right now. Maybe I try to go outside and actually hit the driving range on the 4th. My golf game needs it badly.
Where are you gonna drive to?
I see what you did there. Any final thoughts before we call it a night?
I love you all, and I hope to play many, many more games of Hex with you all very soon.
And on that thought, we will shut her down. But thanks for hanging out with us for an hour and a half, and we'll see you either tomorrow or later this week.
Hour and 42 minutes.